The old tank is gone. Because I have moved to an undisclosed location, and with that move I get a new home, but it also means that the fish get new homes as well. So at the moment they're in two holding tanks, big tall one over here. The bathroom tank is still with me. It was so delicate I didn't want to take it apart like I did with the big tank, so I just emptied half the water out and then carried it over here. But over the next couple of clips, we'll set this table up with the two new tanks, and we'll get them a new home as well as get me a new home as well. It's so exciting. To make the transition easier, I've obviously saved the soil from the big tank, and then I took out carefully all of the plants from the other tank, and I also tried to keep as much water as possible because this is the stuff that has the bacteria in it. So at the moment they're a little bit squashed and confused. Oh, that's the first time I've seen him since bringing him here, little Pleco. What we have is a 60 by 30 centimeters, and then we have a 35 by 35 by 35, perfectly square, or as you say in American, 14 by 14 by 14 inches. Combined, we're looking at 95 centimeters of fish tank to go on a table that is 100 centimeters across. And the best part is I've got everything. I've got the new tanks, I've got the new filters which I'm running through now, I've already got the lights, I've already got the plants as I said, I've got all my API solution right here. So all this is going to take is a little bit of time. I know what I want, I've got what I need, and the fish are already bought. I'm not starting from scratch. I'm not sure if you can see it, but that there is Daddy and that is the baby. What I have done is spent a little bit on some extra rocks, which you can see here, and this extra wood that I have sticking out, because this time I really want one of my potted plants, probably the Bauhinia, or the whatever that is, can't remember, the peace lily, there we go, peace lily. I want that to come out of the side. If you remember in my old video, I wanted more fauna to make it less rectangle, but it didn't actually work out, so that's why we're going with a smaller tank this time. The three rocks themselves point outwards, and my hope is that the Pleco that will go in here will have a nice little home. And at the back I've got this slope so that the roots can stay planted here, and then I've sort of walled it off with all of this wood and then a rock to provide some support. Now this is my fault because I didn't think ahead with this, but this tank of fish have to go in here, but this is the one I'm building first, but I need that to be moved to here, and the water from that obviously needs to be removed to make it lighter for removal. We need to go in there. So the fish from there into here, and then the water from there into here. We're going to do a swap. Think of it as like a liver transfusion from one person to another, while at the same time getting the kidneys from a third person into the first person. I'm going to see if I can play with this and somehow integrate it into the tank as well, because look at all those roots. So I'm taking some of the plants in the holding tank to put in here, as they say in Wales. Okay, we're back after a little short break. I am now cycling the water. It's a bit cloudy once I put all my API solution in the system. It always gets cloudy when I put this in. Ironically, it's called AccuClear. I wonder if it's out of date. Oh well, I'll check another time. Anyway, I've put all that in. That's the state of it now. Let me just go wide. That's the state of it now. Sorry about the reflections. I don't have curtains yet in this room, but we'll look at it from here. So, successfully, this has all stayed together. The pothos is in now, and I managed to fit in another plant. So there's three all bunched up together. I've got a backup filter in here, just cycling through the water, since I've lowered the water level in here. And now it's time to tidy up. Two Plecos, 9 Gourami, and 9 Barbs. It is the third day, and well, you can see, look how clear that water is. Wonderful, right? Everything's going swimmingly, excuse my pun. But my Pleco, inside that little cave that I made for him, or her, that's not assuming their gender, is a very naughty Pleco. Can you see the sediment? Keeps digging everything up. In terms of building a tank, this is my third time. I'm kind of happy with it, to say 90%. At the back it looks a bit messy, and this piece of wood is sort of hiding some of the mess at the back, partly because of this guy. And I would like this to be more uniform, but time will tell. Otherwise, I really like the lagoon thing I've got going on here. I like all the roots coming out. I like this messiness. I have put a black piece of paper here. Now it looks much darker, quieter for it, because they want dark places. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a black piece of paper on the back cover of this tank as well. I'm just chopping it up here, and we'll see what that looks like. Get rid of the wires, and it might get rid of some of the confusion, because we've got 2 or 3 different plants here trying to compete for my attention. Hey, welcome back. It is 1 month, give or take, later, and let me give you an update on the status of this tank. First, the tank, I love it. It settled down. I was kind of a little bit negative before when I said I'm kindly happy at 90%. I mean, come on, you got 90%. That's like entrance level Harvard stuff, isn't it? So I'm really happy with this tank. The Pleco has calmed down. You can see the sediment is all uniform. The grass that I tried to put on, gone, basically. It got gobbled up. Everyone took little bites out of it. So that's not good, but it's okay. Doesn't seem to be bothering anybody. And the other part, I'm going to give you close-ups of. The cutting that I talked about, here it is. After about a month, you can see it's growing as expected, I want it to be a lot more, but it's great because it's moving away from that kind of boxy design. And because of the intricacies of all the roots and the plants at the back, smaller snails can actually survive in this tank because this pleco especially can't get to them like he could do in the previous tank. But we've got lots of floaters. This light is not killing these plants anymore. If you remember, I mentioned that they would slowly fade almost instantly when I switched one set of floaters from one tank under different lighting, which is this lighting here, to this Chichiros lighting, and I've changed the color temperature, and that's all it took really. So these plants are very successful. I like the marshy aesthetic. I intend to keep all the decaying leaves, let that all rot in there, like you can see at the back. And it's a little mystery space actually, where some of the fish like to hide and make their own. Can you see this one here? He looks more aged and less bright than say this one or this one. He's a little bit erratic. I think he's on his way out, but barring any other major deaths, I'm going to keep this tank for at least a year and then change it up a bit because I like to give them a different environment at least once a year. I would like to keep it and actually put these fish inside and make a really big nano tank. But speaking of which, we'll say hello to these guys very soon. So thanks for watching. Bye-bye.